everyone, it's Rose from Belle Bridal again. We've got another guest list member here today with us. It's Luke from Saint Photography. Now, Luke came on our radar just before we were doing the Grangefield show, and he kind of jumped onto our radar as being a really fresh, cool, modern wedding photographer. And since meeting Luke at the show, we were really impressed with him and kind of brought him into the community. And yeah, this chat's just going to show you a little bit about him, what he's all about, talk you through his packages, what he offers to couples, and get a real taste for how a wedding photographer should be in a modern climate, which I think is fun, relaxed, unobtrusive. Without further ado, chat us through briefly your background and where photography came from.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one for me, really. It was kind of that difficult time in your life when you have to make a decision when you're leaving school of what you want to be, what you want to do. And I think a lot of people don't really know the exact answer to that. I went through the motions of continuing on to sixth form. That lasted about 4 days, and I realised I wasn't going to be able to express myself. So I found an art and design course at a local college, which was kind of like lots of different medias that you could explore. So I loved my kind of graphic design. I loved actually drawing and sketching, painting. And then really photography at that point wasn't even something I was considering. But from starting that course, I think probably the best and strangest thing happened, really. We were sitting waiting it was my very first ever photography lecture, that would have been. And we were waiting and nobody turned up. And then the course leader came in and said, "I've just fired your photography tutor, and we have no one else to do it. But here's Ian, he's a fine art teacher, and he'll look after you." And I really clicked with Ian straight away. He's a really cool guy, got like big handlebar moustache, big ponytail, proper rocker kind of guy. And
hipster vibe.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. He walked in, he just said, everyone obviously got the nice shiny new DSLRs that everyone had been told they're going to purchase to be on the course, and everyone was really excited about it. And he said, "Get all your cameras out." And he walked around with a box, and everyone put their cameras in the box. And he chucked them in a filing cabinet and kicked the door shut. And pulled out this dusty old box and just started throwing 35mm film cameras at everybody, and everyone was catching them. And then he said, "Right, see you in 2 weeks," and just walked out. His theory really behind it all was that if you're learning the art of photography, you should be learning it from its raw, original, well, not completely original, obviously, but from an accessible point of using the 35mm cameras. Then we went back in, and he sort of taught us how to process in the darkroom. And I think from that moment, really, it was something which I kind of just fell in love with.
And would you say that's something that you've carried into your business now? We live in a world where everything's visual, everything's online, everything's Instagram, and there's a lot of filters and things like that. Would you say that your kind of USP, so to speak, as a wedding photographer, is that you've got that grounding in the foundational elements of photography?
Yeah, I think it could be something that there's obviously people of an older generation than me that would be way more familiar with that. They probably shot weddings on film. Obviously, I'm only I'm in my 30s, but I'm I'm still young enough to not for that not to have really been something that was present in the industry by the time I entered. It was all digital, so yeah, it probably is quite nice that I've got that. Possibly slightly different experience. When I went on to university, I continued with shooting on film cameras, went on to like medium format film cameras, and then I used to scan those negatives in and then work on them digitally on the computer. So it was kind of, I suppose, created a point of a crossover between the two. So still using the modern methods, but really appreciating and respecting those traditional methods of photography. You look at the final products and the editing styles now, they're all trying to replicate that kind of old film look.
Yeah.
So we even add a little bit of grain and stuff like that. I do with my work, especially my black and white sort of finishes on the images, add a bit of grain, a bit of noise to kind of give that film kind of feel as well. So it feels slightly authentic. And with the colours, like you say, I know there's a lot of different filters and stuff applied and stuff like that, but I try and keep it fairly pure with mine. So it's not a true colour. It's still got that modern feel to it. which gives it that kind of edgy kind of feel, really.
How long do you spend fine-tuning your images?
I've got some little kind of tricks that I've got now, some software and some hardware. Actually, I've created like I can show it you actually. It's like a little, it's actually like a MIDI controller that a DJ would use. But I've kind of programmed that into the software so I can kind of speed up the process without
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really
programmed that, have you?
Yeah, so it's just like each thing does like a certain, so like that'll be my exposure, and then I've got all my colours and stuff that can be on there. It means that the quality can stay the same, but it's just about it being a little bit quicker with the process. So it's meant that I can get it down to like sort of 2-3 days afterwards now. So I think if you sort of take it as an average, I often say to people, you're talking at least 60% of the job really for me is after.
Yeah.
I think my aim is that it kind of makes sense when people are watching him back on a slideshow or something, and they can sit back, get all the family round, get the popcorn, get the tissues ready, and kind of all just gather around and enjoy it as an experience, you know.
What is it about a wedding day that makes you passionate? Where does that passion come from? Is it the enjoyment of seeing everyone together? Does it ignite a particular memory within you? What is it that you love about them?
It's a really good question. Yeah, I think it's multiple things. I think it's an antisocial job in the respect of like your social life just goes completely out the window. So you've got to, like for me, I find myself having a little dance on the dance floor.
Just a release. You're not shooting while you're two-stepping, are you?
Yeah.
No. The multi-talented guy, this Luke.
I think also it's like I get the same questions every wedding. You know, well, how do you know the couple? How do you know them? How long have you known them for? And often I don't really. You know, I don't know them until they're booked in with me. And it's not something I try and sort of force. It's just, I suppose it's just who I am, just a bit of a social chameleon. On the drive there in the morning, I always say this is a privilege. It's a very privileged job to be doing. And I think as long as you always ground yourself and feel appreciative of that, then you can enjoy it and you can have fun with it and have fun with the day, I say, with guests and the couples. I've just, you know, I've made some really good friends along the way, and people that are still, you know, I've captured the weddings that I still see to this day.
Because I think just from kind of seeing you work your stand at Grangefields, I think that's something that you've got in your locker, and that you can really just have a bit of crack with the couples and get to know them on a personal level. But what I'm interested in seeing is how you balance that with the professionalism of the jobs on a wedding day. What are you doing? Are you kind of blending into the background a little bit? Are you thinking, right, I've done that, now I'm going to go and immerse myself in the crowd? And how are you approaching it?
I like the pre-planning, so I always have a chat with my couples 30 days before, whether that be a video chat or a phone call or meet in person if they're local. Did the other week, went for some beers and a pizza, and we just sort of ran through the day, and it was really nice. But I think it's that preparation which can allow you to have a kind of blueprint for the day. Things change, but as long as we know sort of roughly when things are happening, I find that puts the bride and groom at ease. Give me the responsibility, put that burden on me. You just enjoy it. You be completely immersed in it. And I know when I can do things. So like you say, at certain points, it'll be after the ceremony. I love to get a big confetti shot. That's something which I've always done. And I don't think in those certain moments, if you want to dictate almost what's happening to get the best image for the couple, you've got to have a little bit about you to be able to say to a crowd of people, you know, okay, guys, you know, we're going to do this here. And I have that element. Then also I pride myself in those pockets of time where I leave the bride and groom to enjoy the day, and I can just be sort of floating around getting those natural shots. So yeah, I think it's a combination of the two, really.
Just think it kind of sheds a light on how a photographer has the potential to be so instrumental in your wedding. So they'll probably look back on their wedding and see you as one of the key people there that made it so magical, because now they've got them images forever.
I've not thought of it like that really, but I suppose coming back to your earlier questions of why do you love it so much, and I think that point of something based, I suppose, solely around the end product, that it's something that someone will treasure forever, and think one of the best reviews I ever had was someone said we laughed and we cried when we look back at our wedding pictures, and I think that's like just kind of defines exactly what I'm trying to achieve, really.
I'm now going to go on a very quick fire round, okay?
I'm nervous about this one.
Luke. Really quick fire questions so that people
Okay.
can get a rounded view of you. Okay. Let's hit it. So, cats or dogs?
Dogs. I've got one here. Do you want to see?
Yes. Oh, bring the dog on. We'll love a dog.
Here he is. He's an old boy now, Oscar,
Oh,
11 years old now. So yeah, but he's just
he's
chilling for the whole interview down there. So yeah,
little
dogs.
companion, isn't he? He's the second shooter.
Yeah.
Staying in or going out?
Oh, it's just sound really boring now.
Go for it.
Not out. I can't go out anymore. If it's just like a casual pint, then.
So we're not going out. We're just going out. Casual drinks, beers, pizzas.
Yeah. Craft beers, the typical hipster nonsense you'd expect from her.
Sun or snow?
Sun.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Ceremony shots or late night dance floor shots?
Ceremony shots.
Morning person or night person?
Night.
Football or rugby?
Football. Yeah.
Aston Villa or Birmingham?
Only one team in the city. That's Aston Villa.
Thank you for sparing the time and speaking to me. If you want to find out more about Luke, head to his website, follow him on Instagram, and you can read his guest list profile as well. You'll be featuring on our next edition. We'll look forward to seeing you in print in there. So yeah, that's Luke, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.